Is global warming good for Total Divas? Yeah, duh. And we're breaking it down right now on AFTERBUZZ TV. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, where are we? Well, we're at AFTERBUZZ TV Studios coming to ya. And we are also on top of the world with Season 6, Episode 7 of Total Divas. This one is a win-wine situation. I love that. Thank you for coming to hang out with us. We are live on YouTube. Please give us that thumbs up. We have the chat roll rolling. You guys are chatting a lot already. I like it. Can't wait to hear what you thought about this episode. We are on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. Please give us a 5-star rating. Let us know what you think about this show, about Total Divas, about pretty much anything. I'm Christy Olson, and you can always hit me up directly at Christy Reports. I want to tell you that we have a little switch up on our lineup tonight. And Jennifer Leone is not here. She's celebrating a birthday, so please make sure you reach out to her at Jennifer Leone TV and wish her a happy birthday. Megan Stecker's on the red carpet, so guess what? It's me and the boys again. Yes. Joining us tonight at G Hermoza, we have George Hermoza.
Every time I hear this song, I think of like the first season where you had the full intro beat, and you hear Cameron. You gotta work the face. You gotta work the camera.
Oh yeah.
And you just want to be like, oh god, no. You're lucky you're nice in real life, but yeah, the Cameron, no, thank you.
She's not La Luchadora.
Girl, bye.
Oh, okay.
La Luchadora.
And at Jimbo in the booth, we got Jimbo Franck.
Hi, I'm at the table. Not in the booth, but
Not
it's okay.
in the booth. You're in the booth on Twitter.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be in the booth, but it's gonna be okay.
You know what? It is my
survived.
dream to do this show all by myself.
Really?
But not like that. I mean,
Okay.
I wouldn't want it that way. I'm glad you guys are here, is what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Very
and I'm glad
opposite
that
of
you
the
all
Backstreet
joined
Boys.
us.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
want
was
it that
I was
way.
an NSYNC fan. Hello.
Baby, bye.
You know
Bye,
what?
bye, bye. And baby, hello to the storylines that we have been waiting for since July. Okay,
Has
when
it
they
really
announced
been that
brand
long?
split, yes, it went down. That's when the draft happened. So this was even
Oh yeah,
even
because we saw
sooner than
Money in the
that.
Bank, and I was at Money in the Bank in Vegas. and that was
In
July.
Vegas. Yeah, and when all that went down, I thought, please be shooting for Total Divas. I want to know what's going on. Are they freaking out behind the scenes about staying with their men? What's going down? And we're finally getting it. So it's brand extension time for the Total Divas. And Stepdaddy Bella, which is what we'll call him, is quite tight-lipped about it backstage. The Bellas are going to head to Napa, but Brie just wants to keep it all fun. No business. She said Nikki is killing her fertility. What's going on with Natty? Well, she hasn't had TV time in quite a while, and Mark Carrano wants to talk. So let's jump in right there. We know when he tells you it's time for a meeting, it could be good news, it could be bad news. Either way, it's going to change some things. And Natty's looking at a heel turn. Boys, tell everybody out there who may not know exactly what that means.
She was a good guy, and now she's gonna be a bad guy.
Thank you at the Jimbo Jimbo in the booth with the rainbow.
Whatever.
I'll be like, do. That's what we know. And she hops out in sort of this first match. She's going to turn heel at Money in the Bank. She gets cheered, which is not the reaction that she wants from the crowd. Now explain that. Why does she not want to be cheered? I think maybe people watching this are confused. They think, don't you always want to be cheered by the fans? Isn't that the point?
Well, in some ways, you're a performer. And I mean, professional wrestlers are a lot of things. One of the things that they are as well, they're performing. So
Correct.
whether you're a comedian, what's your goal as a comedian?
Make
you want
laughs.
to make people laugh. You know, if you're in a movie, you're playing a villain. What do you want people to do? You want people to hate you. Not that much different in pro wrestling. It's more so WWE. Let's be real. So let's say you're playing a
Sports entertainment, George.
Let's say you're a heel in the WWE. You want people to hate you.
Right.
So it kind of goes against it when people are actually cheering you. So it's one of those things where it's like you start to doubt yourself. Am I doing a good job? Am I not doing a good job? Am I sucking as a heel? Am I not? You know, it's like, is the company not gaining faith in myself?
And you'll always hear you either want cheers or you want boos, because if you hear nothing, that's not good, which she gets to in this episode. Like, they didn't even react.
That's right.
I don't know what to do. Like, they're not booing me.
No,
What do I do?
Probably being cheered when you're trying to be booed is worse, which happens in the first scene where she attacks Becky. That's Becky Lynch, the Irish last kicker at Money in the Bank. And following that, she does get the hate that she wants, but it's only on social media. And I would still think that social media heat is just as good, right?
If not better.
As
it
live
changed the
heat?
outcome of WrestleMania.
Oh,
if you think about it.
Touche, Jimbo.
So, I mean, it's because she didn't change her hair. Had she had changed her hair, like Christian Rosenberg has been saying this
You
entire
guys
time.
have been, harping on that since this heel turn.
Yeah, that's all she needed was some hair extensions, maybe a wig.
He probably got some tweets tonight, and he has
I
no idea.
bet.
Our fellow AfterBuzz TV host, Christian Rosenberg, who, when we were breaking this all down on the SmackDown after show 6 months ago or whatever it was like, why didn't Natty change her hair? Why didn't she change her hair? And apparently she had it on the brain. But we will get there. Meanwhile, Summer has on those $100 tap-out leggings. Naomi had them on like a couple episodes ago, and I'm obsessed with them, but they're $100 freaking dollars. So now I just saved you all from going to jcpenney.com. You're welcome. We haven't talked about Paige yet, which usually is fine by me, but she's serving up a lot of juicy stuff tonight. Her shoulder pops during a match with Sasha against Charlotte and Dana. They do a double, some kind of something on her. I forget what it was.
Suplex?
Yes. And her shoulder pops, and she is in pain. Now, that can mean a lot of things for a WWE superstar, right?
I mean, it can mean a lot of things. I mean, I think with when it comes to WWE or maybe just as a pro wrestler, like injuries can be like your worst enemy, because now that means, what can that mean? Maybe you're not going to be able to work. I mean, thankfully in the WWE they have guaranteed contracts, but still, you still get bonuses, you still get house show revenue, you still get, you know, TV time, I'm sure, bonuses, whatnot. But if you don't get any of that stuff, then you're not going to get an extra bonus. So as much as it is as much of a job and you don't get an extra paycheck, people still love doing this stuff, you know? People still want to go out there and get the reaction that, you know, that they grew up to get. So, yeah, I can completely see why Paige is so upset that, you know, she got something. Because obviously everybody gets hurt, but you can always tell it's like a little something more that maybe separates the, you know, the hurt and the injured. Obviously, it looked like she was going to be injured.
Yeah, well, do you guys think it's possible for someone like a WWE? Well, they were still divas at this point, right? No. Women superstars to hide something like this from each other, from the locker room, from backstage, from the powers that be. Is that even possible?
I don't know as far as the women go, because they seem like they're always having a sewing circle, so to speak, where everyone's sharing each other's drama. But I know when Kerry Von Erich wrestled in the WWE, he had an amputated foot, and for the longest time, no one knew in the locker room
because he would always shower with his boots on.
Yeah, like he was wrestling with.
You didn't know this?
Listen, I know a lot of stuff. This doesn't happen to be one of the things
I know.
And it's crazy if you go back and watch matches now, knowing that, you're like, whoa, like, yeah, just like look, like little things, like, oh man, he really like has to adjust his like right boot a little bit more than he like normally would.
Because that messes with your equilibrium. I knew I wasn't gonna get that right on the first try.
It was a Bella blender. It's cool. But so you're saying maybe if you're not a reality TV star, in addition to being a WWE superstar, then maybe it is possible.
Yeah, it might be possible to keep things in wraps. But like we hear later on in the episode, you don't want to keep things like this under wraps because you want them addressed so you could get back in the ring. Because that's her big issue is, I don't want to be taken off TV. I'm on a roll. Right. It's like, if we don't take you off TV to get this fixed, it's just going to get worse. And then you're risking your other performers that you're performing with, their health as well. Because if you go to lift someone for a suplex and your shoulder gives out because it's messed up or your neck's messed up, and then you drop somebody else on their head, and then they're, God forbid, like paralyzed or really hurt bad.
Oh, and you were hurt the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell us that you were hurt?
Why didn't you tell us you were hurt? So
that's really the serious aspect
I think that's,
of it.
And that's why Mark
Carana
got so upset of like, no, I know the answer to this. Why are you lying to me?
But also too, like at the same time, it's easy for us to kind of say whatever we're saying. But if you're a wrestler, like you don't want to, you know what I mean? Like the last thing you want to do is, because like I said, everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt if you're a pro wrestler. But like, you know, it's like a pride thing, you know, and we get it, you know, us from this end, we get it, but also from a pro wrestler, and it's like, that's their career, man. Like,
yeah, Jay Ruiz in the chat said for how Paige grew up in the business, that's why she didn't want anyone to know. So essentially that she's sort of been trained with that mindset, exactly that
especially
you're talking
like
about.
Back in the day, especially knowing what we know now, like you have no idea how many people wrestled with concussions back in the day and broken this, broken that,
everything.
sprained this, like...
X-Pac, we have him in here when we do his show. He's been wrestling with a broken foot for how long?
Yeah, and he's got like shoulder issues that are years long.
Yeah. I think the best, like you said, it's the difference between hurt and injured. Like, if you're hurt, you can still go, maybe you shouldn't. But if you're injured, you need to be on the shelf. And
absolutely.
Nursed back to health.
Absolutely. Well, Natty's still up to no good backstage. Becky is doing a promo with Renee Young. This was kind of a fun BTS with Renee, seeing her do her job backstage.
Speaking of Renee,
Yeah.
not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, please
I was
do.
shocked that at the Money in the Bank, Dean wins the title at that Money in the Bank.
Oh, that's right.
Why didn't they show her reaction of like, oh my god, my man's the champ? Why didn't we get any of that?
See, what they're gonna do is they're gonna do it like in 2 weeks, and they're gonna act like they didn't already film that footage. You know, typical Total Divas.
Or yeah, it'll all of a sudden be like, Dean
'Cause-
just got the
'cause-
title and we're
and
going out to dinner.
I know the last episode. I know I'm 2 weeks behind because you guys already did it. But like 2 weeks ago, they're like, "Oh, Rusev just won the U.S. belt," but they showed him beating Sheamus. No, he beat Kalisto for that in the time span that you were talking about.
Good point.
So yeah, don't be surprised if that happens. If you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I was just like, wait a minute, that's something really big that they just glossed over. Like, but I guess this episode was more Natty Paige heavy.
Yeah.
That they were like, we don't need Renee to be a main character in this. She could be a.
Well, I know you would
side
appreciate this. You see that shirt that Biggie had in the beginning?
Yes, Biggie was rocking a Young Bucks t-shirt.
Oh, hey.
Or the
Our-
elite,
The
which was
Elite.
like, which is funny because
Our
like
upcoming X-Pac
they
12360
they
guest.
would always like kind of go back and forth on Twitter, but you never really saw them like, kind of wear each other's merch. So I thought it was kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
he was wearing that specific shirt, on WWE TV.
That was funny. Matt Jackson tweeted a little gif of it with like a smiley face.
From
smiley
Total
face
Divas?
blowing a
I
kiss.
love when the guys get involved in Total Divas. Oh, it's so good. Well, Eva is going to go visit Paige in San Antonio. She's got some live events. I'm guessing this is when she was working some NXT shows. And they are like BFFs, guys. They are totally hitting it off. There seems to be a trust there between the two of them. When Eva kind of went on her apology tour last season, Paige ended up really apologizing to her. Remember, she kind of did. She sort of like made it a point to make good with everyone, even though she didn't really do anything wrong. I see you, Eva. But this is the first we've kind of seen of these two really ever spending time alone together and having fun doing it. But Paige's neck is bothering her. Eva asks about it. They go to the snake farm.
Yeah, put a 40-pound python around your neck. That'll help your neck.
Thank you. What the heck?
Who does that?
What the heck?
What's the matter with you?
What the heck would you let a snake around your neck, girl?
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like Paige is a very likable person, to be honest with you. It's just that she's got a lot of.
You're joking?
No, I just think that. I mean, she seems very easy to get along with. Like she's not going to be shy. She's going to be very like, hey, this is what's going on. It's just that she's got a lot of issues that need to be dealt with. But then just because somebody's got issues doesn't mean they can be a very personable human being. Am I wrong?
Well, no, you're not wrong, but Paige is not.
You don't think she's a personable?
No, not at all. When she's screaming in someone's face with her finger and calling them a piece of
Those are the
ass.
issues. Those are the issues she has.
I don't know.
Like I remember last season when she went to that bingo with the old folks people. She was funny.
No, she ended up being a jerk to Foxy. She was being a jerk to Foxy.
Well, Foxy isn't
Right?
in that great of a human being.
We did see Foxy for a sec tonight. I miss her. I know I begged for Naomi back for a long time, and we finally got her, so I won't complain, but I do love me some Foxy as well. AJO314 in the chat says, Paige is about as likable as my sister. I'm guessing that's not a good thing. Yes, she effing hates her because of her sister.
I was like, I don't know what that means. Good.
Yeah, right? Well, let's talk about Paige being a pseudo stepmom. Was she FaceTiming or something with her, showing photos of, they never say these are Alberto Del Rio's kids, but Eva refers to her as stepmommy, and she's saying, oh my God, I love these kids, and it sounds like they like her, which just blows my mind. Okay, I just wanted to remind everyone here that these would be children whose mother, Alberto Del Rio, is still married to at this point and who cannot be too happy about this entire situation. So what this does tell me is that the mom's not talking a lot of stuff about Paige because otherwise the kids would hate her.
I just remember that when the rumors first happened, you remember those pictures from Disneyland?
Yes.
Her
pushing the stroller.
But it's like I remember I was looking at it, I'm like, wait. What is she holding? Or what is he holding? Is that a stroller? Oh my God, this is like some juicy.
This is
I
real.
need to text Christy Olson about this stuff. What has she got
And
to
you
say
did.
about
That's
this?
what we did.
Yeah.
That's right. That is right. Well, guys, do you know how to spell handkerchief?
No, but I
No.
know we almost had a boob slip when she got in the car. 'Cause her
The second one of the evening when
Oh,
she was
man.
wearing that green thing with
uh,
John, which was gorgeous, by the way. But there was clearly, she had like clear nipple
that
covers
thing?
on. Did
Oh,
you catch
man.
that?
Oh, yeah.
In the
G-Herm?
restaurant when
Creepy
he's like,
George,
that's
did you catch
really
that?
revealing.
Who didn't catch that?
I've always wondered, because we've seen so much of Daniel Bryan being disapproving of any time Brie shows any skin, but it seems like John is just always cool with it. But I guess there is a line. There's a revealing line. Not a real line, a revealing line.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that outfit? What if you were John Cena and Nikki came down the stairs of your gorgeous mansion for date night and she was wearing that? What would be your first thought?
My first thought is we ain't leaving the house.
Touche, Jimbo.
She's with me.
See, I like that. Like it. Well, Nikki has a new idea. She's always hustling, and she talks about these friends that they have, Tim and Ryan, and they have a vineyard, and she thinks that a Bella brand of wine sounds like a good idea, and I have to say, I agree. What do you guys think?
I agree, but I don't want to be negative, Nancy. I thought the storyline sucked. I was so bored with the storyline. I feel like we've seen it before.
Bellas go to Napa Valley?
Just
really?
Bellas in general.
Oh, wait, yeah.
We're gonna start going to Napa. We're gonna start this business. No, you're gonna be this. No, I'm gonna be that. It's like, I feel like I saw it before. It was just kind of boring. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, don't get me wrong. I never fast forward through anything, but I was just like, dude, I want to get to the other stuff already. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it just was repetitive of like other stuff.
Get out.
All right, sorry.
Get out, George. Get out and never come back.
So, I like this wine idea. However, I think it could be molded to something better. I think instead of them trying to make their own wine, they should do like a Bella wine box to where you could either, like, you could go to your local supermarket and you could, like, in the wine, and there'd be like the Bella box, and it'd have like a bottle of wine, 2 glasses, and like a fruit and cheese plate. And that would be like your Bella box. And then me and you were talking, and what if it was like the vineyards around Napa Valley, you got the Bella experience, and you paid so much to get a certain kind of wine that they picked out for you, and it was all glitz and glamour and scale kind of thing, and then you pay for the Bella experience, as opposed to just, we put our name on a label and now we have our own wine.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, I would still buy a Bella wine, no matter what.
I would be in on all of the above. Will you guys come with me to the Napa Valley Bella
I don't drink wine, but
experience?
we'll make it happen.
You will that day.
You will
drink
drink wine, and we will make it happen.
You didn't bring me any today. I'm a little upset about that.
You said never mind.
Yeah,
Never
right.
mind.
Bree says that Nikki wants to fill up her plate just because that's what John does. And I see what she's saying, but I don't think it is as negative as she's making it out to be. I think it's more that Nikki is inspired by what John does. You think
I agree. Whenever you're like in a relationship, and not from personal experience, but I feel like you should be with somebody who's going to make you better. And I feel like with Nikki, like, she looks up to John Cena in many ways, more ways than one. And from a business standpoint, she wants to be like, oh, well, he's got his name attached to all these things. I want my name to be attached to all these things as well, in a separate environment. Obviously, he's doing the SNL, the Trainwick, the ESPYs, all that stuff. Now she wants to do the Birdie Bee, the wine. Like, dude, kudos to her, dude. Like, don't let anybody ever, like, bring you down, Brie. And I love me some Brie, but, I was not a fan of Brie. Kind of like, well, no. Don't be what John's doing.
Yeah, she was a bit of as you said before, a negative Nancy. However, George Cisneros in our chat has a genius idea. He says, Bella wine box with Brie cheese.
I like it. Keeping it real.
Love it, George Cisneros.
I think it's a iron sharpens iron situation where, because Nikki's with John and she sees how successful he is, it's not that like, oh, he has a pony, well, I have a pony. Or like, he has a sports car, well, I have a sports car. It's like, he's doing this, okay, well, what am I going to do to put myself on his level again? And his level again, and his level again. So I think that's her struggle, is she doesn't want to like be John Cena, but she wants to be up there to where they're like known with each other, to where like someone would compare other women to Nikki Bella, like people compare other wrestlers to John Cena. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Well, let's get to this whole Natty and the dark hair thing, because we see that she was actually considering it. She tries on a couple of dark wigs. It looks pretty weird.
It does. She looks like Cruella DeVille.
Yeah.
She looked like Oksana when she was like blonde in NXT. and then she went like black hair for some reason.
For Cesaro, when she came back with us,
I only remember her having dark hair.
Yeah, but
when she first started, she was
blonde hair.
I feel like she would look as weird blonde as Natty looks with dark hair.
She was on the NXT that like AJ and Naomi and all of them were on. Like that.
When it was
when it was tryouts, like a
when
competition.
it was like a season.
It was like a competition show. Yeah,
she was on that season.
Dude, that show was such a train wreck. The best thing about that was like nobody cared, so like everybody just did whatever they wanted, and then we made it for really interesting TV.
Just buries everyone on commentary.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot to mention that Paige has a new tattoo. This was another thing you texted me about when it happened that I couldn't wait to see on the show. I thought we'd maybe get to see her getting it done. But was he there when she got it done? And we're never going to see him on the show again, I'm pretty sure, or hear his name.
I would, if I was dating a girl and she was like, oh, come meet me at the tattoo shop, and then I saw the stencil was my name, I'd get out of Dodge. I'd be like, hey, I don't know if you want to get that. Like, you might want to hold off on that.
You don't have any tattoos of Shannon's name or any of that business?
No, she hates tattoos also.
And it's funny because Alberto is his middle name.
Is that?
I think it's weird.
That's true, yeah.
His first name is Jose.
He always uses it in wrestling now. Like even if he's like Alberto De Patron or something.
Well, yeah, just after he went to WWE because he was in Alberto Del Rio before WWE.
Oh.
He was Dos Carlos Jr. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that does make it weird then.
Yeah.
Get your boyfriend's real name.
I mean, like if he had Paige instead of Soraya. What's her name? Soraya, right?
Soraya, yeah.
Yeah, like he had Paige tattooed on him instead of Soraya. Like,
that creeps me out now. That is weird. Chat roll, do you all think that that's weird? I know we're behind a teeny bit. Oh, yes. Oh, no, they're talking about something else I think was weird. Oh, the black hair. The black hair they thought was weird. Well, the Bellas meet with Tim and Ryan, and Brie kind of explains her point of view, and they tell them, hey, ladies, it's not so easy. But Nikki and Brie go out with them. They test the water in the grapevines or something. I don't know.
See, I heard it through the grapevine. I appreciate the work ethic because a lot of people will be like, oh, I just want my name attached. Here's a bunch of money. Make it happen.
Exactly.
But they want to be or Nikki mostly wants to be involved as, from top to bottom. So again, kudos to her. Sometimes I'm a little sometimes I criticize Nikki for being a little bougie at times, But, dude, kudos to her. Like I said, her work ethic is unmatched.
Oh, yeah, and she was out there picking up them rocks. You get it, girl. You get it, girl.
Because she knows there's a nice big glass of wine waiting at the end of that.
She wanted to take a wine break. I can respect that. Well, meanwhile, Paige confides in Eva about her neck pain, but she tells her not to say anything. Eva goes in and gets her a brace, which at first I was like, why didn't Paige go get it? But she's trying to keep it a secret. Although apparently it isn't much of a secret, but Natty's talking to Carano about a lot of things. Apparently. One of them being attaching herself to Eva. Now, did you guys think that was a good idea?
I loved it. I thought it was so great because Eva is your biggest heel you have right now. Mm-hmm. And if Natty's struggling with getting that reaction, why not put her with Eva? And that helps Eva be under a veteran to learn and get better.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
It can't hurt.
It did. It sounded genius at first. I agreed. I was like, ooh, yeah, and I want to see it. But then once Carano explained, she didn't need to attach herself to Eva, and how are you going to take Eva's heat? Not that I don't think Eva could get that heat back as whatever she wanted it. But once he explained it, I thought, okay, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense.
But it can't hurt to try.
I do like that attitude.
Of all the other things that they've thrown at the wall to see if it sticks, why not give it a shot?
See, especially with so many live events, that's what the live events are for. Let's try some new things. Let's try this weekend. Let's see how Eva does with Natty. Just try it out. Not gonna hurt.
Pairing I was about to say Dana White. Pairing Dana Brooke with Charlotte was great. Mm-hmm. And Charlotte's not even that experienced as a Natty to give a new person or newcomer to the business all that experience that she's learned because she's fairly new. But someone like Natty, who's a 10-year veteran, could do wonders with Eva to the point where if it was a storyline and they decide we need to split them up, when they do split them up, Eva's going to be a huge baby face or heel depending on how they want to turn that. Because if Natty's already been established that she was always a good guy and now it's kind of rocky making her a bad guy, just think when she's a good guy again, or when she really lets Eva have it and then they're like, oh, you're the new villain. Mm-hmm. There's so much potential. Why not give it a try?
See, now you convinced me back the other way again. I'm too wishy-washy today. I don't know. Well,
Carano was hot. Carano was hot about that.
He said, be your own star. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Be your own star. We attribute that to.
I feel like that. I don't know. I just feel like that was so like that was for TV. Because everything. What's Carano's job? He's in charge of talent, right?
Making storylines get over.
It's not. He's not. He's not a writer. So I just think that specific thing was just for TV. It was just for the reality show because he's not a writer. Why would you pitch something like that to a non-writer?
Annoyed.
You know what else was really funny about that? Like Renee's little 2 cents every couple minutes. Like, oh no, yeah, I don't agree with that, and they just like look at her and be like,
he's like,
shut up.
By the way, that black overall look, probably one of my favorite Renee Young looks.
Ugh, whatever. Anyway, Natty.
Do you like the broken dog collar that she wears?
That was okay. Her little dog's cute though. Little blue.
Her dog was
Puppy
so
is
adorable in that bag. Oh my gosh.
Well, Natty does finally get her heat from the crowd when she attacks Becky from behind. I believe that happened on SmackDown from, if my memory serves me, from watching that show. So congratulations to you, Natty. That didn't last long. She started quoting songs, and then she was babyface again, and then we're all confused again. But I'm sure we'll get there eventually, too. Now, this next scene we see from the Bella Twins is very interesting to me. Nikki says that she will be more successful than John Cena. And you know what? I loved to hear her say that. Whether that's going to happen or not, I think it's completely irrelevant. The fact that she believes it and that that's what's going to make her successful is all that's important. And I think that that attitude is coming from John himself. I guarantee you he has said to her, Nikki, you can be even more successful than I am. You can. He's the kind of guy who lifts his woman up like that, don't you think? Do you think that she got that idea from him?
As long as she didn't have her shoes on in the house and she was at the table in time for dinner, I'm sure positive reinforcement was made. Absolutely. No, but seriously, I think absolutely he's a very supportive boyfriend, and someone like that is the same as her, where he wants her to be at his level or higher, so he could just constantly be getting better in life, you know?
Well, yeah, like you said, so he can be like, she's with me.
She's with me, yeah.
So when I heard that, I thought of one thing, and I think you'll like what I have to say. Nobody can determine success but yourself. Who's to say someone else is going to be successful, or who's to determine someone else is going to say you're not successful? You're going to say you're successful, right?
You're just repeating what Daniel Bryan said.
No, but I'm saying, like, I remember I tweeted something one time because I think like people were coming out on the Young Bucks because they've never been WWE. Who's to say Young Bucks aren't successful as it is? And I think they like retweeted me one time, to be honest with you. But I was like, if that's what they want to do, don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not successful. You know what I mean? What if they don't want to be WWE? What if their idea of success is, being in Tokyo Dome 4 years in a row? That's them. So for her to say that she's going to be more successful than John Cena, kudos to her one more time.
Absolutely.
Because again, maybe John Cena is like, maybe he's not successful. Maybe he doesn't think that he's accomplished everything in his life. CM Punk said he wasn't successful, but you take anybody else in that position, I guarantee they're gonna be like, dude, he's not successful and he did all that in his career. I'll take that career, please. So again, it's one of those things where nobody can determine, someone else's success. So if she's going to say she's more successful than Cena, then God bless her, because I think she will be.
Yeah, oh, so much Nikki love tonight. The chat is agreeing with us. They say Nikki's shooting for the moon, but will reach the stars. Aw. Bulls with several S's says Nikki can be very successful. She just needs to find her niche.
Now, maybe make more money, maybe not. But again, maybe it's not even about the money. And maybe it's just, being whatever she wants to do.
I think it's probably about the money a little bit. Oh. But what you're saying does sort of echo Daniel Bryan's sentiment when Brie called him and explained the situation, and he set her straight. He told her that she was wrong and she should apologize. You agree?
Especially you're the sister. Be supportive.
I mean, we haven't seen a lot of that support synergy between the Bellas in the past. All the time, not all the time. I feel like the end of my notes for every episode say, either Brie or Nikki apologizes to Brie or Nikki, the Bella Twins make up.
See, exactly the same thing over and over again.
I know, but it's okay.
Daniel Bryan put it very well. Him saying, you telling her you don't want to be a part of this is not the same as telling her she can't do this, which is what Brie did to Nikki. Like, she was like, you can't do this. You can't.
I think she's still better from the IQ test.
Oh, I'm sure she is.
Oh, could you believe that? You weren't... Oh, yeah, we broke that down, but you weren't here. Could you believe it?
But I still watched.
It was unbelievable, right? Shocking.
Unbelievable.
Shocking. 70th percentile versus 40th. That's all I'm saying.
Wasn't Bill explaining, though, that, like, IQ tests are for people that are, like, 12 and under?
Yeah, it was glad we had Bill here that week. We basically, he's sick, so tweet him your get well wishes.
Your IQ up to this age, not like...
Well, Brie does end up apologizing to Nikki, and she admits that, Nikki has always been determined. It wasn't just John Cena that brought that out in her, and I liked to hear that, because, We know them pretty well now, but we didn't know them when they were growing up.
And I wonder if she's really pushing on being so successful in other ventures than wrestling, so that she has this, like, she can leave the WWE on her own terms. Like, she has a fallback plan and has made a bed for herself that she doesn't have to worry about wrestling for the rest of her life to, like, have a life that she wants to live and keep her lifestyle at that level. If she has Birdie Bees and she has this wine thing and she has her clothing line and whatever else, she knows, like, okay, well, I might be done with wrestling, but I'm not out of the limelight. I still have so many things to do.
They're very, like, passionate about doing things. You know, obviously 6 seasons in, maybe like once or twice a season, we see them, you know, have an idea. Oh, I want to a bar, when that was called, a bar.
Oh,
B-A-R-R-E.
yeah, you guys were so confused.
And obviously with, like, you know, she's got a real estate license. It's always like, she's always, or both of them are always, you know, coming up with something to do post-wrestling. Not that many people do that, to be honest with you. So, again, kudos to both of them. Man,
I wonder if that's
They are
something they've
hustlers,
learned
dude.
from, like, being around John Cena and seeing other wrestlers not do things like that and having to come back or work the indies or hearing horror stories about people that they once worked with that they're like, oh man, I don't want to end up like that. You know,
Well,
they don't want to be on DDP yoga.
Well, on that note, let's get to our final scene with Miss Eva and Paige. Mark Carano's there too, and Natty. And oh my goodness gracious, Mark Carano has found out about Paige's neck injury. And when Paige confronts Eva, at first Eva did not deny it. And I think Eva is such a cool cucumber. And I couldn't believe it. She didn't, but I was like, uh-oh, she's not denying it. Did you guys think when this started kind of evolving that Eva was the one who ratted Paige out to Carano?
Once I saw the episode, I was like, Eva's got no idea what Paige is talking about. Because obviously you see the commercials, you feel like, you know, it's like, oh my God, there's Eva again. But then as the show progressed, I'm like, dude, I think Eva's got an out on this one. I think she's good. I think just Paige being a little cray-cray.
And I guess we probably shouldn't be surprised that the person who actually spilled the beans is Natty.
When you have a production crew around you all the time, nothing is secret. Nothing is secret at all. That's why it was so funny during John and Nikki's dinner where he's like, let's do this every Saturday, just us, and not the 3 producers and the 2 camera guys and the light guy that have to follow us around. You know? That's where I was. But I thought it was so funny when Paige is going off on this. I turned to you, I said, it would have been hilarious if, like, before Paige came out, Nikki and Eva were having a talk, and Eva's like, man, me and Paige just hit it off. We're really bonding. I went to San Antonio. She picked me up at the airport. We went out and had drinks. It was a great time. Oh, hey, Paige. And it's like, you piece of shit. You know, like, oh, man, that would have been hilarious. So funny.
It would have been, but either way, Paige is getting sent home, and she is P.O. But it sounds like all the ladies were talking about this in the locker room, and it's kind of what we suspected at the beginning of the episode, that you just really can't hide something like that, girl.
I have a little beef with this episode, though. And I think you'll appreciate this, too. I think they were showing they were in Money in the Bank, which is in Las Vegas. Wasn't, like, something happened between Paige and Alberto Del Rio in Las Vegas?
Oh, that's right. Paige got arrested and then escorted to the hospital, or into an ambulance.
I was hoping this would come up in this episode. I was like, oh, cool, Money in the Bank. I'm sure this is going to show, at least get mentioned. Nothing. I remember
that's
at that
something
time
that they had to pull when Alberto was like, nope, you're not allowed to show
Well, they
me.
still showed him a few times.
They showed his back.
And they showed his front, too. They showed him a few times. They showed him enough to know who he is.
He didn't get a lower third or anything.
Yeah, everybody knows who he is now.
That's right. They were both handcuffed, and she was placed in an ambulance. There were reports that there was something with drunk hecklers, or reports that she was darting in and out of traffic dangerously.
But I figured since they were in Vegas for the Money in the Bank, I figured maybe they'll just, you know, touch up on it very quickly, like they've done before.
Yeah,
but
I guess
nothing.
not.
Nothing.
Well, we did get quite a bit of juice in this episode, though, so I guess I won't be too upset. Is there anything you guys want to add about this episode?
Let's see. Big E, the Elite. Let's see, Natty. Oh, Natty's sister, man, she loves she loves her some Big E.
Yeah, we didn't see her this time, but I was concerned for her last episode, how she just was all better once Biggie sexted her instead of being a confident woman and taking care of herself.
Let's see, there's Natty.
All right, we covered it. We got big Paige Del Rio news and gossip. Let's get to it.
Again?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Listen, I feel like I have delivered more Paige Del Rio news this year.
I feel like there should be a separate Paige
And this
Del
year
Rio.
just started.
A Paige Del Rio weekly segment aside from the news and gossip. And here's your weekly Paige and Del Rio news segment.
Well, and this week,
what's your weekly Paige and Del Rio news
we
segment?
would be reporting that Del Rio gave Paige a big fat rock over the holidays. No, a huge diamond ring, George.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was option A, what I just said, what I'm saying.
Well, it is a big, sparkly something, something. She was very happy about it. He, meanwhile, got arrested in Austria after a bar fight. Him and his brother were involved in, and then at the police station, he and his brother got into it, left the walls of the jail bloody. He got out of his restraints and had to be re-restrained. His brother's still in the hospital over in Austria. Typical Del Rio Paige stuff.
Sounds like a great
new.
family to marry into.
Right? Amen.
Although, I don't know. I mean, I do feel like during the show, during this episode, she was kind of saying, like, I mean, and kudos, I mean, if kudos, I keep like saying kudos so many times today. She said a lot, like, dude, like, she has never felt this way before. Again, her shoes, maybe not, but, you know, if this is legit for her, then good for her. She said, just during the episode when she was saying about the tattoo, she was like, oh, I never felt this way about Bradley or Kevin. Like, he's just different. I'm like, okay, if that's true, then, you know, good for you, Paige.
I guess I see what you're saying, that just because it's going so fast doesn't mean it's wrong, but
Yeah.
I just still think it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's still wrong. I mean, the time frame has nothing to do with it. There are a lot of other things that just be like red flag, you know?
Let's talk about how the Total Divas couples spent New Year's Eve. The Miz and Maurice had their annual New Year's Eve bash and invited all the WWE superstars. There's lots of fabulous pictures on the internet. Make sure you check those out. It's not that the three of us weren't invited. It's just that we had so many invites from that evening. You know, Jericho had a party too, that it's not like we have any behind the scenes pics, but we know it went down.
You got an invite?
No, I was joking. Hello. What else is Maurice up to? Well, she has been fined $5,000 by the WWE for slapping her Total Divas co-star Renee Young on SmackDown Live. Don't be too alarmed, people. This is probably just part of the
I feel like she wouldn't
storyline.
have gotten fined had she not gone out and looked for her. She specifically went out and looked for her. It wasn't a reaction kind of thing. It was, especially went up to Renee Young and just slapped
She
the bejesus
also
out of her.
slapped the crap out of her. Yes, dude. Whether you're a wrestling fan or not, if you just love Total Divas drama, Maurice gave it to Renee on Tuesday, and there's gifs all over the internet. Gotta check that out. And if you're on the internet anyway, make sure you look up the Bella Twins YouTube channel. Nikki mocks Carmella, who we've been talking about in our news and gossip, has been insulting Nikki and not giving her credit for her accomplishments. Meanwhile, on SmackDown this week, Natty told Nikki that she'll die alone. You guys, there's just as much drama on. Just watch SmackDown. I know I say this every week. Please watch SmackDown. And one more little tidbit about SmackDown. Naomi is reacting to your tweets, guys. She is reading them. She sees you. A lot of fans were displeased with her being gone from SmackDown Live again this week, and she retweeted a lot of that. So make sure you reach out to your favorite divas. They are listening, and they are maybe retweeting. You know you love that. So on that note, let's move into our fun game we like to play called Total Throwback. Oh yeah, I forget we don't have any. We gotta come up with something cutesy for that. You guys could just sing. You guys could be like, Total Throwback. You know, I'm not sure if this one is easy or hard. I always say that.
Or like you do Brie mode. I mean, like Total Throwback.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Done. For next week, we'll have it done. Well, since we were talking about wine and you guys said, you know, this isn't the first time the Bellas have gone to Napa Valley, let's rewind to season 4, episode 10, Gone with the Wine. One of my favorites. Now, if you guys will try to think real hard, in this episode, one of the divas, something happened to her phone. That's all I'm gonna say. And I want you to tell me
I think I know
what
the
happened
answer.
to her phone. Which diva was it?
I think I know the answer, because if I'm right, then you'll know why I know the answer, because I was so mad at that episode.
Is this when Eva got her phone tossed out of the car and he was like, that's not the iPhone that she always
Yeah,
has?
she clearly did not throw out an iPhone. That was like a Samsung Galaxy phone. And clearly she's got an iPhone, because I remember going back to my Instagram, looking up at all the selfies she took, and I was like, that's clearly an iPhone. And whatever she threw out the car was not an iPhone.
I think part of the reason why I love all that so much is because you went off on it so hard right here on the Total Divas After Show. You guys can go back and see season 4, episode 10. You are correct, boys. At another point, Jimbo is definitely in the running this season. But George, you keep sticking around. I feel like you'll be up there too.
Maybe we'll see.
You'll be up there too. Well,
just
guys,
want my
before
prize.
we You want to You know what we got to do? We didn't do anything for Total Bellas, so we got to get a prize going for the next
Bella
one.
Dress thing.
Oh, that's right, for Shannon.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's for Shannon for sure.
Bella Gear will be Bella Gear will be the grand prize.
It's like a nightshirt.
Before let's see what the chat roll's chatting about. Our news. Oh, they're talking about SmackDown. They knew. Brianna Shippey said Eva's phone was dropped. Montserrat Geraldine, hey girl, said Eva Marie threw her phone out the window.
Yeah, her and
you guys
Jonathan
were all over this one. Nicole Ling out the window. Yes, I love it. Our chat roll is in the running. You know, he's been there a little bit, like on the we've seen him like in the background or something, but we haven't seen him at all. What is up with that? That's a good question.
He was good. He was like at the end of the episodes, like in like sitcoms or TV where they play like the sentimental music and like the main character comes and like establishes what the moral of the episode was. Like that was John.
Yeah. Well, and remember the WWE released a statement when Tyson Kidd talked about him not being on this episode, and they said, you know, we really just wanted to focus on the new cast members and their significant others who are currently on the roster. So maybe the fact that Jonathan, maybe they're really trying to turn this into a thing where it's about the couples, not just about the ladies.
I'm sure they're pissed that Del Rio put a wrench in that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure they.
But I do feel like every week there's like gonna be like, oh, what's gonna be Paige's issue this week, you know? And I don't know. I think a lot of people, a lot of the viewers have been expecting that.
I'm sorry, AJ0314 in the chat points out that Jonathan dropped Eva's phone out the window. Yes, that is what happened. You guys know that.
Yeah.
All right, well, what do we think will go down next week on One Total Divas? Our feed always cuts off at like midway through the preview for next week, so we don't see the whole thing. But what do you guys predict? Let's roll into our predictions. Yes, Brian gets a phone call. Lana's planning her wedding. Paige continues to deal with all kinds of stuff. What do you guys think's gonna go down?
I think the call Brian gets is to come be GM. So that's why Brie is like, wait, we're still going to have kids, right? Because if you're going to be back on the road doing, like, work stuff, are we going to have time to be a family and start a family?
Do you think he'll struggle with the decision to do something that's not wrestling related? Like, do you think we're going to see him sit and say, oh, or I could go work the indies and really wrestle. You know, if I take this, that's the end of it. You think we'll really see him struggle with the decision?
I think he'll be like, so you want me to wear a suit and a tie and pretend like I'm the general manager calling the shots when really Vince McMahon is just telling me to go out there and tell them exactly what he wants to happen?
I think he's implied, both on Talking Smack and on other interviews, that he didn't really have a choice. He said, I'm under contract, and, you know, they called me to go work, and I'm working. But I think he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm upset about it, but there's really nothing he can do about it. But even so, I think I said with Renee Young, I think maybe less with Brian. Like, what does he work, 1-2 days a week max?
That's true. That's true.
Like, that's a lot of other time now, you know, trying to focus on getting pregnant.
Well, Lana and Rusev are planning their weddings. Also, I hate that we didn't see a lot of them on this episode. I think, man, we've seen Lana. We've seen a little bit of, I don't want to say crazy Lana, because she's not crazy in a bad way. She's like fun, crazy, baddie in the best way. And I think we're going to see like...
Loony Lana?
Yes, Loony Lana. That's the perfect word for it. Yes. I think this wedding planning is going to drive her a little bit nuts.
Yeah, wedding planning will drive you nuts, FYI.
Lana's funny. She seems very goofy at times.
She absolutely does, and we can only assume too that the draft will come up at some point in time, and we're going to see most of the couples stay together.
Except for Del Rio and Paige. I think that was a big issue. I'm sure we'll see it.
I think that was done on purpose too.
Oh, it was. Oh, it definitely was.
Because everyone else is together. The Uso and Naomi, Cena, Nikki. Like,
yeah, Lana and Rusev. Well, Lana and Rusev.
I mean, they're not on Total Divas, but Big Cass and Carmella.
Bree's not on SmackDown, is she?
No.
She's
not.
No, she's off TV entirely. Yeah.
She hasn't been on TV since Mania.
It doesn't matter.
She's retired. Well, on that note, unfortunately, it's time to retire our show for the evening. Man,
really?
I look so forward to this every week, and I'm so glad that you guys were here with us tonight. Oh, hey, we got 4 minutes left. No.
Well, might as well, right? TV time.
We're good.
Come on.
Well, Jimbo, why don't you tell everybody out there what else is going on here at AfterBuzz TV, where to hit you up,
you can follow me on Twitter at Jimbo in the Booth. Check out the X-Pac 12360 podcast. We had a great episode today with Al Snow, and there was so much talked about that even if you're not a diehard wrestling fan, you should definitely listen to, because I'm sure you'll learn something.
Or watch. I usually watch on YouTube.
I prefer to watch it on YouTube.
I watch it on
actually.
YouTube.
Oh, I don't know. My hair's kind of bad today. You can just iTunes it.
Your hair was fine. But yes, G Hermoza, GHERMOZA, all the above. I hopefully will be back soon. We'll be covering the Royal Rumble in a few weeks. And,
yeah. It's going to be good from the Alamo Dome. I said it right this time. And you guys, if you want to rehash what's gone on with Paige and Del Rio last year, it is last year now, please check out youtube.com/Christy Reports. And you can always hit me up on social media at Christy Reports, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Let me know what you guys think about what's going down with these ladies. You know I love to talk about it. I so enjoy when you guys reach out to me. And, oh, you know what? Since we do have a sec, someone posed a question to me last week. What would Renee Young's entrance music be like? So let's everyone stew on that. You guys tweet me about it, and we'll talk about that next week for sure.
Is Paige pregnant?
Paige is not pregnant. I have done my research. That's a total hoax. If you don't hear it on the Total Divas AfterBuzz after show news and gossip, it ain't going down. And on that note, guys, make sure you tune back in next week for another one. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of the week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.